Hello everybody and welcome to another Ultimate Fire episode review. It's finally back after a 2-week hiatus. The reason being, well, I explained this in a vlog a week and a half ago, some time ago, and basically there was this playoff season going on in America, so new episodes of The Ultimate Fighter were not airing over here. I don't know if they were airing anywhere, because, like, if they were, I could have found them somewhere, but no, apparently. So, yeah. There was a playoff season of baseball, I think. I think it was baseball. Like, anything I've looked up regarding to it, in relation to it, is it's got baseball somewhere. So, the show is finally back, and I am finally back to give my terrible, rambly reviews about my thoughts on the show. So, yeah, let's just get let's just get started with it. Let's get it started in here. Okay. So we start off with the coaches Benavides and Cejudo going to the house to have a party, a pool party with the fighters. And then, it was very nice. It was a very, very sort of relaxing sort of thing, considering how well the fighters have done. And you've got to remember, first 8 fights of the season, all finishes. Really, really good first outing, just all in all. So, yeah, it was nice of the coaches to actually throw this party. Everyone honestly deserved it because they put in like a lot of hard work into the season. You can just tell from watching the fights themselves. It's really, really good. And excuse me, a drink. Tea in my grenade mug. Anyway, I was like, yeah, during the pool party, Cejudo was flopped down on like the side of the pool, and Benavides took note of this and said, like, for all of Cejudo's boasting of being a role model, Benavides pointed out that Cejudo is only really more of a role model with his words, but with his actions, he's kind of a dick. Okay, he didn't say that exactly, but this is my interpretation of that, and he's actually right. We'll find out later on in the episode, which I'll get to in just a moment, that he can be kind of a knob. I mean, with Cejudo, with his words, he's very thoughtful, very wise. He's just got this air of grandeur about him. But when it comes to his actions, like outside the ring, he's not exactly the role model type. It's not like a terrible, terrible thing, but he could act like it a bit more. He could act like what he's saying. So we get to the moment I was talking about just a few moments ago. Moments. And it was kind of a first in the series history. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Basically, Duane Ludwig, one of the best coaches going right now, former UFC fighter himself, and a good friend of Team Benavides because Ludwig trains over at Team Alpha. I think he's pretty much the head coach there. He came over and wanted to do training sessions for both Benavides' team and Cejudo's team, and he was more than happy to do it for both sides. He did have a condition with Cejudo's team, though, that Henry Cejudo himself couldn't be part of the training. This is where we get to sort of like the dickish thing, because Cejudo started doing an impersonation of Benavides. Like he did a couple of episodes ago, he did it again this time as well, and I just have to ask why he's doing it. I mean, like I said, for all of Cejudo's words about being a role model, he makes himself look like a bit of an asshole in this case, and it really doesn't help him. I mean, sure, he's likable, but seeing him on the show, like, there's a saying that goes around when it comes to the ultimate fighter. You see a coach's true colors when it comes to this stuff, and I think we're starting to see more of that with Cejudo. Like Benavides, he's not really showing any cracks or really trying to. He's very much himself. Whereas Cejudo, he doesn't live up. His actions don't live up to the words he spouts out of his mouth. Basically, I feel like he could do that more. And obviously, he was incensed with not being able to join the rest of his team for the training session that Duane Ludwig was holding, which I do fully understand. It kind of got more heated because Duane Ludwig is actually a friend of, pardon me, one of Team Cejudo's coaches, Kieran Fitzgibbons, I think is his name. Fitzpatrick, sorry. There's one called Fitzgibbons and one called Fitzpatrick, I think. Anyway, yeah, that's the whole thing. So this Kieran guy, really good friends with Ludwig, but Duane pretty much told him that Cejudo couldn't be there, so, they had to break that down to Cejudo. It was a whole thing. Not not the best in the world. Not quite CM Punk. WWE CM Punk, not UFC CM Punk. Sorry to make the joke there. Moving on. Then we have the fight itself of teammate versus teammate, as number 1 seed Alexandre Pantoja took on number 9 seed Kai France. And, teammate versus teammate. First fight of the quarterfinals, I think. Quarterfinals, yes. Quarterfinals, yes. The first 8 fights were round of 16, but this is quarterfinals. And the first non-finish of the entire season. It went the distance, Pantoja won. It was not a good fight. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't a standout of the season. Despite being the first and so far only fight to go the distance, it was kind of boring. I mean, okay, in terms of stand-up, Kai did land really well, but because he's a much shorter fighter, he couldn't land all that much. And Pantoja was surprisingly standing more with Kai. And what surprised me even more was Kai's ground game, because he did mention in one of those backstage interview doobries that just because you don't see his ground game doesn't mean it's not there. And that was very much proven in the fight. He defended quite a lot of Alexandre's takedowns, and the ones he didn't defend, he managed to get back up from really, really quickly. But Pantoja kept up with good striking on his own, and it was stand up through the last 2 minutes or last 1 minute of the fight, and it was kind of uneventful. And then second round, they both kind of started out more aggressively, especially Kai. He was striking a lot more, and one thing I noticed that was a change was that he was going for the body. He landed this really good left hook to the body several times on Pantoja in round 2. And I wish he would do it more, but the trouble was he was too scared of Pantoja's takedown. And it's Pantoja didn't even go for it at all in the second round, and after all the defended attempts in round 1, I don't blame him for not going for the takedown. But Kai was, he was just thinking smart. He was very, very wary of the takedown, because Pantoja is, he's fought a lot longer. He's a veteran. I mean, he trains Joseph Benavidez and Claudio Gadelha in Jiu-Jitsu, for God's sake, so why wouldn't you be scared of the takedown? Those are 2 of the best fighters ever. You kind of understand Kai's reasoning there, but I felt like he should have followed up the body strike more. I feel like he should have landed more at least to try and maybe win by body shot TKO. That would have been cool to see. It would have been nice to see him follow the left body hook with a right overhand maybe. That's not what we got. But he did well enough. Unfortunately, he didn't win the fight as Pantoja managed to take it. It wasn't a fantastic fight. And I'm not just saying that because it's the first non-finish of the season, but it was just it felt like it dragged on despite being only 10 minutes long, 11 if you count the the minute resting period in between rounds. So there was a lot about it that could have been better. So the only other thing to say is the next fight, which is Hiromasa Ogikubo. I did say that name right this time, thank God. From Team Benavidez against who's number 5 against Adamantolin, who's number 13 from Team Cejudo. And what else was? Oh yes. Backtracking. Episode 7, Bury Tomorrow, comes out tomorrow. I've finally got the latest album to listen to, which is Earthbound. Then I've got to write the review for that. Then it'll all be done by tomorrow. I'll make the video, I'll put it out, so you can all see that. So and then more stuff is coming your way. I believe there's actually UFC this weekend as well, so I'm excited for that. That's all I can think of to say. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.